Hello everybody and welcome to this week's video. My name is Marjorie.
And my name is Katie.
And today we are going to be talking about the flower moon. It actually takes place on the day that we are recording this, but we are not celebrating until tomorrow.
And after our information about the flower moon and what it is, we'll be cutting to a video from one of our members, Dylan, who's going to describe their flower communion that they're going to be hosting for us tomorrow.
So, why do we call it the flower full moon? So, this is the full moon that happens in May, and it's often called the flower moon, which comes from the Algonquin peoples due to the abundance of flowers associated with spring here in the northern hemisphere. So, some other names that are associated with this moon include the planting moon, the egg-laying moon, and the budding moon from the Native American peoples, the milk moon from Old English nations, the mother's moon, the bright moon, the grass moon, and the hare moon from Celtic and Old English nations. So this is actually kind of a special full moon for the Eastern Hemisphere. They are going to be seeing this full moon accompanied with a lunar eclipse. So the moon is going to enter a penumbral lunar eclipse on May 5th at 11:14 a.m. ET. So it's already happened. But during this lunar eclipse, the moon would have dropped almost completely below the Earth's shadow and touch only the shadow's outer part. So again, this eclipse was most visible in the Eastern Hemisphere, specifically in Eastern Africa, Central and Eastern Asia, Indonesia, Australia, and Southern New Zealand. So sadly, that means we didn't get to witness it, but be on the lookout for some pictures that are going to be uploaded online, because I'm sure some very talented people are going to want to upload those for you to see. So the flower moon is just a great time to get outside. Since it's middle of spring, we talked about, the reason it's named the flower moon is because of all the flowers that are in bloom. So you want to get outside, look at what's in bloom, smell the flowers, take the pictures if you can, and just soak up all the bright colors and beauty and just all of the really nice energy. And also, since spring and summer are times that people tend to get out more and socialize as opposed to the fall and winter, you might feel called to be around people more. And if you do feel that calling, you might as well do it while you're outside. Try to be together outside rather than inside, just to enjoy this nice spring weather.
So now that we've learned a little bit about the flower moon, let's go ahead and talk about some of its correspondences. May is the month of Beltane, so of course the flower moon is very strongly associated with fire, yellows, reds, and oranges. Trees and herbs that correspond with the month include hawthorn, rowan, mint, and cinnamon. Corresponding crystals include ruby, garnet, and amber. Although I guess amber is not technically a crystal, but you get what we mean. Finally, some deities who are closely associated with this moon include Kali, who's the Hindu goddess of death and time, Priapus, the Greek god of vegetation and animal fertility, Cernunnos, the Celtic god of animals, wild things, and fertility, and Flora, who is the Roman goddess of flowers.
So, what is some magic that you can do during this time? This is a really good time to work on magic related to careers and jobs as well as fertility. So, here are some things that you can do. The easiest one, and kind of probably the most obvious, is begin tending to your garden or planting some seeds in containers if you don't have a garden, and just take some time to cultivate each of your plants. Spend some time with them, try to cultivate their growth, and you might also consider doing a simple planting ritual. And since May is also the month of Beltane, you might also consider doing magic related to fertility and contraception. If you want to do this, you might consider planting tubers such as yams, which have been believed to increase lust and fertility. And in some West African nations specifically, the white yam has been shown to have high birth rates.
You may also consider planting beans, squash, and corn in an arrangement that some Native American nations refer to as the Three Sisters. And that's because these plants work really, really well together. They create their own self-sustaining ecosystem in which they all help each other grow. And what's more, they also magically represent abundance, family community, and happiness. You might also decide to perform an abundance ritual, either for yourself or for your family. Although if you do this, it's important to remember that the season of Beltane is not just about material wealth, but also about your spiritual wealth and your emotional wealth as well. Focus on the growth of nature and its bounty. Also, look at how dramatic this background video that I found is. There's no way I wasn't going to include it. It just gets closer and closer to their faces. This is the level of theatrics that I'm bringing to this coven at any given time. So now we'll turn the video over to Dylan, who's going to describe their flower communion that they're hosting for us tomorrow. Dylan brought up that they are a Unitarian Universalist and that this is a ritual they really missed, and we're an open circle. So if you ever have an idea for a ritual that you'd like to incorporate, be sure to let Core Council know or put it in the suggestion box.
Hi, I'm Dylan. I'm going to be leading the flower communion on Saturday, so I wanted to give you a heads up on how it works. So once you get there, you will be cleansed, and you can go ahead and put your flower in the vases that I will have set up on a table. Just important note, any flower you bring, you will not be bringing home with you. So if you really like the flower, don't bring it because somebody else will take it home. Yeah, and so the flowers will all be at the center on the table for the ceremony until the end, and then there will be a moment where I invite you to come take a flower. And then you can come up one by one as you feel called and take the flower that you want to take home. And again, it should be a different one than the one you brought. Yeah, and we'll talk more about the meaning. I'll share the story of flower communion, so you'll know a little bit more about the meaning during the ritual. And yeah, after that, that's it. It's really simple, but I hope you like it. It's one of my favorite rituals. Thanks for watching.
So that's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. We hope to see you at the flower communion hosted by Dylan tomorrow. And remember that this is a daytime ritual, not our usual evening ritual. And thank you so much. Blessed be.